So I had a chance to review the 2-hour Democrat debate that was on last night. And some people stated they didn't want to watch it, but it's my job to watch those sort of things. So when I present a commentary, I know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, the Democrats have been having a particular strategy. We've been knowing that the Democrats have a benign and neglect policy with Black Americans. They do not want to acknowledge our issues and problems. They do not want to give any kind of policy to deal with a lot of issues that Black America face. But yet they expect us to get in our cars and go vote for them every single time. And we have been doing that for the past 50 years. Go and vote Democrat. We walk around and we get afraid and we say, oh, I better go vote Democrat because that other party's racist. And then we look at what happens to us at the end of the day. They use us like political whores. We don't get nothing out of it. They use and abuse us all the time. So as I was watching the debate last night, I was listening to who they were talking about and who they were not talking about. Now, last night they were discussing LGBTQ. Now, the LGBTQ community got on the main stage because of Barack Obama. Let's call that what it is. They were discussing foreign policy. They were discussing the situation with Iran. They was discussing Medicare for all, or trying to dump private insurance versus a option to have the government do it for you. They was discussing the Hispanic community. They were discussing immigration. These are things they were really focusing on last night. Now, you had a lot of back and forth. Last night, they were speaking so much Spanish up there, I didn't know if I was watching Telemundo or Univision. I didn't know which channel I was watching. I had to look and say, okay, I am watching NBC, because it was like everybody went and started looking at different languages on Duolingo and they just went to town with it. I mean, like, come on. I mean, like, you should maybe do a debate on Telemundo. You won't speak that much Spanish. But the majority of the audience that's going to be listening are English speakers. Now, so they went to doing a lot of, Spanish back and forth. And, from what a lot of Spanish speakers are saying, they wasn't really speaking Spanish too well, but they gave them an A for effort for even trying. So the Democratic Party has laid out their strategy from what I have seen, and last night kind of solidified it. MSNBC, of course, gave them the questions, what they want to present to the people. Now, the candidates themselves was not responsible for the questions. It was MSNBC. MSNBC, mainstream media, etc., do not want to deal with the Black voters. They do not want to deal with reparations. They don't want to deal with anything that we're concerned about. They don't want to deal with policies that will actually punish the cops for police brutality. They don't want to deal with all the issues that we may have. And MSNBC showed it last night who they want to be spoken for. And from what I'm seeing and what I saw last night is the Democrats are trying to really ignore the Black vote until South Carolina. Now, South Carolina, they have a primary coming, and 60% of that voting block is Black. Now, at that time period, they want to start talking to Black people. After that, they want to forget you again. What I will say to the Black voters, this is the election that the Democratic Party gonna have to learn to respect Black people. We have voted for them way too long and got nothing out the deal. They're jumping over hoops for, as I stated on Twitter, LGBTQ, immigrants, the Hispanic community, immigration. That's their 4 pillars. They're trying to get the white Trump voters that maybe could be kind of angry with Trump right now. Some of the white Trump voters that lost their jobs because they closed plants that Trump said they was going to stay open. Those kind of people that's kind of pissed off with Trump, or maybe some of the farmers that's kind of pissed off about the China trade war situation. So they want to siphon those people in, right? But they don't care about working class Black voters because they never even mention Black people as working class. Never. Anytime they mention Black people, they're talking about criminal justice reform. Black people aren't in jail like that. The majority of Black people are working class. We have black people who are small business owners. We have black people who own even corporations in this country. And yet they were not going to focus on black people. When they mention black people, they mention people like Eric Garner. They mention things like Tamir Rice, just mention us in passing. And also mention about aborting our kids. That's the things that they'll mention, giving out free abortions. But they made sure to talk about transgenders getting abortions. Understand what I'm saying? They have a policy. They're trying to ignore black people. And if that's their strategy, take the strategy. Take it. Go ahead and do good with that strategy. But my thing is, and I'm going to say this publicly to the Democrat Party, when you lose to Donald Trump for doing that, I don't want to hear your mouth. I don't want to hear none of your mainstream media pundits blaming black people for not voting. Why would black people vote when they're not wanted, when they're not being thought of? We just had a whole HR 40 hearing, a whole hearing on reparations. I say, okay, at least reparations gonna come up. Didn't even come up because they don't want reparations for black people. It's not gonna stop the conversation, but this is what we need to do as black people. We need to speak louder. We need to keep pushing our issues and make them commit political suicide. I'm talking about the Democratic Party, and let them say that, you know, we don't need the black people. We're going to focus more on who have more of a number in this country, which would be the Latino community. Because see, let's call it what it is, black people. They have bigger numbers for two reasons. They are coming over, and then they're coming over bringing children. And they don't believe in abortion like that. In that series I created on my podcast called Decolonizing the Mind, removing third-party opinions from family business. Make sure you go listen to that one. I talked about not allowing them to put their opinions in our issues. The Hispanic community will not allow them to tell them to abort their children. That's why their numbers are just exploding in this country. It's going to continue to happen. We as black people, we're sitting up here letting these people put that mess in our heads that we need to abort our children if we're too poor, or you have some sorry dude that made a child and don't want to take care of it. You get what I'm saying? They're not doing that. They're sticking with each other and growing their numbers, and that's why they've gotten above us, because we would have 20 million more black people to work with politically, but we don't have them anymore. So we got to rein in that situation in our community. But right now, for what I'm seeing, black folks in America, if we don't return to who we really are, we're done. We're finished in this country. Trust me. If they can win an election without black people, we done. So we better get together. We better mobilize. We got to continue to be politically astute. We got to continue pushing for reparations, pushing what's important to us. But let me tell you something. The difference between us and other people, we have a warrior spirit in us, okay? We can do what others cannot do. We look at all our greats that came before us. Right now, we're living beneath our potential. Right now, we're looking too downtrodden and have no hope. We don't see great things for the future. But we need to get out of that and return to who we really are. Because we, just black people, can turn this country upside down overnight. You know we can do it based on our movements. We have changed the course of this nation many, many times. And it's time for black people once again to change the course of this nation. We are too scattered all over this country, first and foremost, to do anything personally. We got so many over here in California, so many sprinkled up in the Northwest. We got so many sprinkled up, we need to, at least a good consensus of us, understand if we want power, we need numbers. We have to return back to where we come from. We all came from the South. From the South going all the way up to the East. This is what we need to come back to the South, build up our political base. We need to put aside our petty differences, in which I like the reparations conversation because people are putting aside their differences. Black people from all spectrums are starting to come together on one accord on that. And if we can come together on reparations, we can come together on everything. That's how I feel about that. Now, of course, we've seen a lot of the bootlicks come out and say they don't want reparations, and that's fine. Like I said, we just need to remember their name, and we need to make them have hell to pay politically, and also not supporting their businesses, making them a person that should have no kind of support in the black community. We don't need to support nobody that's anti-reparations in the black community. You either on the team or you're not. We got to get that serious with the situation, folks, because what these Democrats are doing, what they're doing, I'm telling you. Now, I'm going to watch the debate tonight. I'm going to sit down and watch it when I have time and see what happens tonight. Now, Marianne Williamson's going to be up there tonight. Now, I know that she isn't in control of the questions. MSNBC is. But based on what I saw, if I see the same thing, then we're going to have to call MSNBC out, too, and say, OK, so you just purposely neglecting black people. You purposely doing it. And the Democrats been purposely doing it. And we as black folks got to let the Democrats know, mainstream media and all of them know, you don't play with the black electorate. Don't play with us, because you're not going to win no elections if we don't participate. Because if I was Donald Trump, I would seize on this right now. I'll seize on the Democrats neglecting black folk. I would if I was Donald Trump. And don't be surprised if he tried. Because you don't think Donald Trump paying attention to all this? He's not stupid. He's paying attention. He gonna try to say something to black people. Watch. Because he's noticing that a lot of black people are upset. A lot of black people are saying they don't want to vote because what's the point? A lot of people are doing that right now. Now, also, like I say, if the Democrats keep playing one good time, maybe we should show the Democrats not to play with us. I'm just saying, should put that on the table. Because they think it's a game around here. They think that our lives don't matter. And they say, yeah, they do. No, they don't. Not to you. But you so focused on people coming across the border and not focusing on people here. Listen, the reason why black folks are getting so upset is because I don't care you focus on immigration, LGBT, cool, focus on it. But why can't you talk about black people's issues and then everybody else's issues too? It's like you want to talk about everybody else's issues and then say, no, we ain't talking about y'all. But you better come out and vote, because if Donald Trump win, it's y'all black people fault. People like, why you want me to go vote for you and you don't even invite me to do anything? You don't care. You don't do no town halls where black people are at, do you? How many of them doing town halls? But every little place they doing town halls in these little white areas, and they do town halls all day for them, but they won't come to a town hall for black folk. Then last night, when they got to the immigration topic, they made sure they got a reporter from Telemundo to ask questions. And I'm looking at that too last night. I say, okay, well, where's the reporter to ask questions about the black community? Where's he at or she at? They didn't bring up their paid people to go up there to talk. They didn't even do that. They are they are actually doing it right now. They don't care about the black vote, and black people should make them regret that decision. I believe some people say we should sit it out. We could do that, but we also can do a protest vote as well. So that's one of the two options that we can do. Because see, the Democratic Party have neglected us. It's like a relationship. You're in a relationship with someone and they take you for granted. They think you're always going to be there. And then the day comes, you're like, man, forget that. I'm out of here. And then when you're out, then all of a sudden like, what happened? And they regret that they lost you because they can't get you back. You're gone. That's what black people got to do to the Democratic Party. Because I'm looking at a story that also happened in Alabama, where a black woman was charged with a crime. She was shot, her baby was killed, and they charged her. She didn't shoot herself. Someone shot her. They dropped the charges on the shooter, but they charged the black woman for her child dying with manslaughter in Alabama. And I said, all these black people ran to go vote for Doug Jones. Where's Doug Jones now? Black people in Alabama, tell me how great your life is now since you ran and voted for Doug Jones. Oh, they're praising you. Oh, black women and black women. That's what they kept saying. Oh, save the race. And oh, it wasn't meant for black women. That's what they kept saying. They trying to divide us, but yet that's not working anymore, that division. So they ran up there and said all that, but yet a black woman's in trouble and Doug Jones is nowhere to be found, is he? See, they use us for votes, brothers and sisters, but they have said, forget the black community. We don't need them no more. We moved on. These people have a higher population. And I stated also on Twitter that statistically is a bad move what they're doing. Statistically, it's a horrible move what they're doing. But let them make that move. Once again, for our wrap up, I'm gonna say this: do not blame black people if Donald Trump wins again, or if Donald Trump get a surge in black votes. Don't be surprised and don't get mad, because you chose to do that. You thought that we were playing games with you. We told you we want policies. We want something. We're not going to sit up here and just be happy with voting. We're not going to be, oh my God, he's a racist. Man, we deal with racism every day. This is America. America is a racist country, especially if you're black. So that's scaring us to go vote. Those days are done. But I want you guys to remember this day. What I'm saying, either they turn their tune or change their tune, or just keep ignoring black people. But don't say nothing when you see Donald Trump being sworn in again. But leave me a comment, let me know what you think about the situation with the first debate. But ladies and gentlemen, I didn't play any clips because it wasn't clip worthy for us to show. It was nothing for me to show. I'm only going to show clips that's in our interest. They didn't discuss black people. So there's nothing for me to show you. Unfortunately, I thought I was going to have video to show you and say, okay, they talked about this issue. Let's break this down, X, Y, Z. They don't care about black folks like that. They're showing that. Let's see what they're going to do tonight.